Hi, today we are on a treasure hunt for joy. Yes, do you remember the game I Spy from when you were a child? Well, today we're going to use that as a tool to sharpen our skills in finding and seeking more joy in our daily lives. So make sure and stay tuned till the end to figure out how we're going to do that. I'm Erica, and I'm your host of Powered by Joy podcast. Welcome. And I love talking about different ways we're going to discover and add more joy into our lives. And if you're someone who's bored, stuck, frustrated, just don't feel like you have a lot of joy in your life, then join us here and learn different ways that we talk about it and try to add it in. And we do that without sacrificing our commitment to our family and friends. So, when you think about joy in your life, most people think about really big moments, like, for example, a baby being born, right? So, your baby is born, you've been waiting 9 months, or a family member's baby is finally born, you've been waiting and waiting and waiting, and there's the celebration before, there's the anticipation, there's the birth, and there's the most unexplainable love and joy. In most instances, yes, there's some pain too, but there's a lot of positive, joyful emotions that are attached to having our babies. I still remember the moment I held each of my sons. That moment of first holding them is something I use to get myself in a higher state of happiness and joy, is remembering that exact moment with them. So it is a powerful, powerful moment. So that is something that, big joy. And then the celebrations wane. Maybe you don't get as many visits from people. And then all of a sudden you're changing diapers and you're not having as much sleep. So maybe you aren't feeling so much joy because you haven't slept in a week or 2 months. And things start to wane. So it kind of, maybe goes away into the daily life of things and it's not as easily found. And another example would be like a wedding. You're planning, you're doing all this work, then there's this huge celebration, there's all these joyful memories and moments, hopefully. And then as the days pass, you go into daily life and it's maybe not as joyful all the time, right? Another big one here would be like maybe you've set a really big goal and you finally met this goal, right? And you have maybe dreamed of reaching a certain income level. And you've been wanting to do that for years and you finally got there. And now you've gotten there and you're like, yes, this feels great. Or maybe it's a motorcycle you're buying and you finally get the bike and you get it and it's still awesome and you're still excited. But oftentimes when we reach a big goal that we've been really striving and working towards, when we achieve it, there's often something people don't talk about. And that is this like, oh, okay, now what? And you kind of have a letdown. You can experience less joy. Like those moments of happiness and joy do pass away. And most people say it's within a matter of days, right? And then another one would be like holidays, right? So think about you're prepping, you're decorating for Christmas or a birthday, planning, inviting, reaching out to people. Then you have this big celebration and there's play intentionally planned and you've got all this excitement, right? And then the holiday passes and there's just kind of like this letdown or this, got to put everything away. You're kind of maybe exhausted from everything. And the last one I wanted to think about was a vacation. You've been planning, looking forward to it. There's all this anticipation. Hopefully there's lots of moments of joy on your vacation, lots of adventure, things like that. And then you have to come home from the vacation. And my sister's friend coined the phrase re-entry. So now you've got re-entry where you have to re-enter into your daily life after going on this awesome vacation or just any vacation that doesn't even have to be perfect, but there's still this sense of like, oh, okay, back to the daily grind. Now what? Right? So that joy meter is definitely coming down and you're back to the daily grind. And maybe you just on the daily aren't feeling a lot of joy, right? So we as people usually connect joy with big moments, big memories, big things that bring us a lot of intense emotions. There's usually anticipation and waiting that come into that. You're having to wait for this thing. And people don't realize a lot of times that period of anticipation is where the joy is and that lead up till. So we want to think about how there are many times in the day that we can be experiencing joy that don't have to be these big momentous occasions. So let's think about that next. So we're going to go back to thinking about a baby or a toddler. So especially a baby. They are experiencing life brand new. They don't have any filters or rules yet. And guess what? They do not give a fuck what anybody thinks about their reaction and their feelings and their emotions. I'm hungry, I'm crying, I'm happy, I'm laughing. They just don't care. There's not a filter on yet, right? And so they wake up in the morning and one of their parents comes in and they see their face. They've been away all night and their parent comes in and hopefully, oftentimes, depending on their disposition, oftentimes a baby will experience joy and happiness at just seeing your face peek over into the crib to get them out. And it's so simple, but they feel a connection and just seeing your face is joy for them. And then think about them eating their food. Like maybe they're really hungry. And so whether you're bottle feeding or nursing, a baby loves to interact with you. And while they're eating, they often want to make eye contact with you. They want to touch your skin. They want to touch your face. Their little hands are exploring and you're getting that skin to skin contact. And you can see that connection in their eyes and that joy that's in them when they're getting a genuine connection with their parent. And their belly is being filled, right? Or they're on the floor playing and any new toy they discover, a new sensation, maybe a puppy comes over and says hi. There's so many things in a baby's day that they just allow themselves to take pleasure and joy in that are very small. And as they get to be toddlers, like it's, they're, like I said, it could be any animals, it could be a flower that they get excited about. Usually there's a lot of things in nature that are free, by the way, that, bring children joy. And I think the cool part of that is that they do not have that filter on them yet, right? Where they don't, they feel free to express their joy. That comes in the form of smiling. They laugh out loud. Maybe they shriek with joy. They scream with joy. They're waving their arms around. They're clapping. Maybe they're bouncing if they're, in their little bouncer seat, but they're just expressing that joy and they don't have a filter on it. And it's beautiful to watch. And as I have grandchildren now, like watching that wonder in their eyes is such a good reminder that getting around children, if you don't have any of your own, is really helpful because, it just, when you see them, even if you're watching on TV or on a YouTube video, just seeing how they have this unfiltered joy is so powerful and such a good reminder. So babies and little guys, like they have this way of, just experiencing joy in the little tiny baby things, right? So how perfect for us to model that. They don't have anybody, hopefully they are not being told like, no, don't express your joy and laughter. And as we get older, maybe you were at school and you got made fun of for your smile, or maybe you got made fun of for your loud laugh. I have an incredibly loud laugh sometimes. But maybe you got made fun of for laughing out loud. So then maybe you're a little bit more cautious about when something either cracks you up or you're like, maybe you just, you tamp that down a little bit. There's a little filter on there and it means you don't get the full expression, the full experience of that joyful thing. So maybe you like pointed to an eagle in the sky and were like, oh my God, oh yeah, right? And you're pointing very childlike. Maybe somebody criticizes you for that. And so next time you see that, you keep it to yourself. And guess what? When you do that, you're maybe not feeling the same level of joy. And also, even if I express that excitement and someone else doesn't have the same excitement over seeing an eagle in the sky, which if you know me, you know that that's a thing. I'm still sharing my joy. So I don't care if you don't have joy over the eagle, but I'm still excited and want to share my joy. And joy is contagious. And so it's not a bad thing to be that person in a bunch that is willing to show their joy and excitement over things that are as simple as seeing a bird in the sky. Another example would be like kids, think about, they're like, oh, a plane, an airplane. And I was just thinking about this when my kids were little and I was working and I was so used to being like, oh, look at the plane. And I was out with a bunch of coworkers and we were outside and I gestured up and was like, oh, a plane. And they were just like, okay. I was like, oops, sorry. Like, forgot where I was and who I was with. But it was like, it was so trained in me to get excited about that it came out when I wasn't in the right place. But I think that when we are just genuine, like, it does become contagious to those around us, and it gives other people permission to feel joy and like notice it. So now we're going to talk about how we're going to bring that game back from our childhood. So we're going to bring back the joy by playing, which is a huge key to experiencing more joy. Okay. So we should be doing this so that we can model it to people around us. We want to model having and experiencing joy in the little things, not just the big ass moments that come maybe once a year or once a summer or whatever it is. We need joy every day. Even when we're going through the shit storm, we still need to have eyes that can see little moments of joy, right? So we want to model that to our kids who are being shown in school to like, oh, fit in, don't show that joy. We've got to show it to our teens who need more joy in their lives. They need to get permission from watching adults in their lives expressing themselves in a positive way, not just in negative ways. And other adults in their life need that example and need to see, oh, they're kind of letting their silly hat off and just experiencing all this joy. I kind of want a piece of that. Maybe it sparks joy in them too, right? So we want to model that to people in our lives. So the I Spy game, if you're not familiar, I said it earlier, but it's where you would set an intention with a group of people. Usually it could be two people, but you would say, okay, I spy, something blue, and then everybody would be looking for it, and then they would guess, and everyone would be on the hunt for it, and oh, I see it, and it was like not a stop sign that's red, whatever the hell's blue, something blue, like a blue city bus. And then you'd be like, oh, that's it. So everyone would get excited, and then the next person got to go around, but everybody was focused on that thing. And I just thought how fun we can play that game within ourselves. We don't even have to have a person that we play it with, but you, in the morning, I would like to invite you to play a game and play this I Spy with my little eye. And I want you to get up in the morning and say to yourself, I am going to notice at least one thing. I'm going to have fun looking for that one thing that makes me smile or kind of brings a laughter to me or kind of gets me excited and my heart pumping a little bit. So maybe it's that you saw an eagle flying over you, letting yourself notice it and express whatever comes out, wow, or whatever comes to you naturally, like expressing that and noticing it. Don't just let it pass. Like if you see your favorite color you're driving through the neighborhood and you notice that 5 houses have your favorite color, but in bloom in flowers, like right now. I saw that this morning. I was going on a walk and I was like, oh my gosh, everybody has my favorite color in their yard. This is amazing. And it brought me so much joy to see all these beautiful flowers in the neighborhood. It's spring. It's a beautiful time of year. And it just brought me so much joy. So I want you to set that intention in the morning of, what am I going to notice with my little eye? What am I going to spy with my little eye today? And that brings me joy. And I will tell you that a lot of times it's something in nature. And that is the gift we have from this universe, that we get to see nature. And like oftentimes our pets are the thing that bring us joy. Maybe your dog does something silly. I'm gesturing down here because she'll be sleeping at my feet. But it can be, like I said, the flowers. It could be a breeze on your skin. It could be that you're driving down the road and you see an amazing looking motorcycle or a really cool colored car. It could be that you hit a new number of reps when you went to the gym today. It could be any number of things, but the point here is that you notice it and you kind of acknowledge it with something, whether it's a smile, a laugh, a gesture, a word, but acknowledge it. Like, yeah, just like we're learning to acknowledge our wins. If you've been listening to some of my other episodes, this is acknowledging little baby joys, right? So little pieces. And then if you're already doing some of that, I have an advanced level for you. So advanced level would be that you actually do 5, as many as your fingers. You're looking for 5 moments of joy in your day. And then your extra bonus is that you share it with somebody, whether it's via text message, maybe you share one of the 3 to 5 that you notice in a day. But if you are someone who cohabitates with other people, I would love to ask you to consider sitting down for dinner and sharing your things that you noticed in your little I Spy game, and asking the other person to do so. And one of my favorite things when my kids were little was at the end of, they weren't little, they were old enough. Anyways, we would sit around the table and we'd talk about like 5 wins or 5 things that went, or 3 things that went well, or one thing. It didn't have to be a number, but it was just that we would share a good thing and something that was challenging in the day, and we would talk about those, but it opened up conversation. So how cool it would be to have conversation over a meal at a table, connecting and sharing your joy. It becomes contagious, and maybe you start to challenge each other to look for something specific the next day. It might be that you just get a smile from a stranger that just seems so genuine. They look you in the eye, or maybe you get the opportunity to pay for someone's coffee and you get to see the reaction and you're like, oh, yeah, nailed it. Joy is all through you, right? And you get to share that. All of a sudden it starts to build on itself. So I would love it if you would start either with the baby step and looking for the one thing when you get out of bed. But if you want to go for advanced, you're going to get more advanced, higher level rewards by looking for even more joy, more moments, and get creative about it. And you can even Google, like, what are things that bring people joy if you struggle to get ideas. But I promise you, as I've talked about in other episodes, if we program our brains to look for things, whether it's the shitty things going wrong in our day, then our brain's going to look for what's going wrong in our day. Or if that always happens to me, I'm always late, your brain's going to look for ways to help you be late. So why not program our brain to look for the things that make us feel joy? And our brain will do it if we set that intention. So setting that intention when you get up in the morning, I'm playing I Spy, I'm going to play a game. How fun is it? When's the last time you made a game out of life, right? So that is my challenge to you. One of the ideas I had is that it would be fun to have like a social media a week where we challenge each other. So I'm going to post and try to remember every day to post about one of the things that brought me joy. And I would love it if you would either post in the comments of this video or jump over to my Instagram, which is Powered by Joy Podcast. And on my post, you can do your own and tell me what is something that you found that brought you joy today in your I Spy game. And then it would be even more fun if you shared it on your own social media, what's bringing you joy. And I mean, we hear all sorts of funny challenges, but let's do one about what brings us joy. I think that would be super fun. So we're going to do that next week, and you will see that on my social media, like I said. So I find that joy is actually easier accessed and found and compounded when it's built upon by the small moments of joy. It's not that waiting for that one big moment of joy. And it's about those small wonders in our life. And when we continue to just add those, instead of putting big moments in, think of it as a cup overflowing and you're filling it with lots of little drops. So then you're overflowing with it, because when we get to the end of our life, we don't want to look back and be like, oh yeah, there were 5 cool moments in my life that really brought me joy. I think it would be great to have a cup overflowing with, like, you just can't even remember all the joy because you noticed so many joyful things that you can't possibly remember them all. Yes, there's big ones, but you can't possibly remember all the tiny ones because they're just so stacked up year after year because you've been doing it daily. So I love this idea. It excites me thinking that somebody else out there will join me in experiencing this and, take on that challenge and see what it does to change your life. So if you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and comment or email me. The contact information is below in the show notes, and I would love to hear your ideas or things that you found that brought you joy. And if you have kind of a feeling of like you're really blocked on this and you want some one-on-one help, you can certainly reach out to me and we can set up some time to do that as well. And we can work on it if you feel like you're kind of blocked on how to find joy. So I would love to continue to grow this as a community of joy seekers. Everybody's seeking joy. We're using our I Spy game and having fun. So thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next week.